Well, as you can see, as long as I got this green screen thing working, this week is all about Hoth. I've been collecting Lego for these builds over the past year from Pick-a-Brick and Bricklink, and I've been buying sets and stuff like that, and I figured it's time to finally put those to use. So in this video, I'm going to be building two MOCs based on Hoth at two different price points. $100 and $1,000. We all know Hoth as the ice planet from Empire Strikes Back, where we see the battle between the Rebels and the Empire. The Empire moves in on the Rebels at Echo Base, and a massive battle takes place where the Empire sees victory. For the $100 build, I'm going to be focusing on the Empire, and for the $1,000 build, I'm going to be focusing on the Rebels. Let's get into the first build. I started by laying down a base plate, and I placed figures to get an idea for where I wanted them to end up. Next, I began building up the landscape with a rocky area on the right and a flat, snowy area on the left. After putting in all the filler brick, I moved on to tiling. I wanted the end result to be smooth and show the snow as being relatively undisturbed except for the areas where the troopers were walking through. I wanted to create an effect that looked like snow had been blown around by the speeder on the left, so I used curved slopes to try and achieve that look. After I finished the tiling, I was pretty much done. I placed the figures, and this is how it all turned out. This build took about 3.5 hours for me to complete. I didn't go crazy with the rock work or anything, but I think there are some nice details here. The scout trooper at the front is pushing his way through the snow, leading the other troopers on foot. We can see the speeder flying by, and I'm really happy with how the snowblown effect turned out. Last but not least, I added a probe droid in the back. Even though this might not be the most accurate thing ever, I think it looks good and adds some height and contrast to the build. Now that we're finished with the small build, it's time to get onto the big one. Before we do that, if you're enjoying the video so far, be sure to drop a like down below. So for this next build, I got together with my friend Alec, and we hang out and build sometimes, but we've actually never worked on a collaborative MOC together, so this is the first time that we're doing that.
This is the largest MOC either of us have worked on by a long shot. Both of us only started building MOCs in the second half of 2022. So jumping into a build this big was really exciting, but also a little daunting.
So we spent a combined total of 63 hours working on this build, and we're calling it the Rebel Defense on Hoth. Here's how we did it.
We started out by laying down base plates and outlining different areas where the key structures of the MOC would be.
We knew that we wanted to create trenches, a large battlefield, a mountain, and a portion of the interior of Echo Base.
After we figured out the main layout, we got right into building the trenches and figuring out how we wanted them to look. We worked on adding slopes to the walls and started creating traction boards to go on the ground for the troopers.
Next, we moved on to the front section of the build so we could knock out that part of the landscaping as quickly as possible and get working on some of the more detailed areas. We built half of the blast door at the entrance of the base and outlined the bottom of the mountain. At this point, we had 3 sections of the build almost completed, but we were coming up short on parts. So I placed a few bricklink orders and we got back to it, continuing with the mountain. Rock work always takes way longer than I think it does, and we were feeling a little pressed for time with our display deadline approaching quickly.
We laid out the interior area of Echo Base and started working on creating a docking bay for the X-Wing.
After wrapping up the interior and having some help from our wives with building the Rebel troopers, we were ready for figure placement. I had a little bit of extra time at the end of the build, so I started working on a design for the Rebel troop carrier that we see in a background shot in the movie. I was excited to try my hand at this because I've never created a vehicle of any kind with my own design before. After 4 hours of work, I think I ended up with something that represents the source material pretty well. It's probably the thing I'm most excited about in the entire MOC because I was able to try something that was outside of my comfort zone. So after all of our hard work, this MOC was finished and it was ready for display. Total, it ended up being about 50 by 20 inches or around 10 base plates in size, and it took us a combined total of 63 hours to build the entire thing. As you take a look at the final build, see if you can spot the cloud piece. Let's check it out. We also got together with a couple guys from our lug to create a large-scale layout. Ken worked on the Imperial side of the battle, and Chris made a shield generator. A big shout out to SW Bricks and Figs as well as Coconut Brick Studios for the idea to make a video like this. If you haven't seen their channels, definitely go check them out. Also, if you like the design of the shirt that I'm wearing, be sure to check out Brick Mafia. You can visit their website with the link in the description. You can get 5% off using the code Firebird5, and they have tons of other super cool embroidered designs to choose from. This video took a lot of time and effort to make, so I'd really appreciate it if you'd consider subscribing. Also, drop a comment down below and let me know what you'd like to see me build next. Otherwise, thanks for watching, and I hope you have a good one.